some questions we want to talk about. You guys saw them. They just guided you through a PBL, and you saw all the things that were there. So hopefully when you go home, one of the things you're going to do is go look at it and do one with your students. But I want you guys just to talk for a little bit. You can answer any of these questions. How are students reacting? Let's just start there. How are students reacting to what you're doing?
So anytime you allow students to not have to sit still and just write and stare at you as you preach them, they are so much more invested. So my students know on Fridays, those are our STEM days. Those are the days we really take time to build and communicate, and they adore it. I don't have attendance issues on Fridays because those are the days that they know when they get to my class, they get to talk to their group members, they get to get their hands on something, they get to get a little dirty, they get to play, build, and destroy, and try again. And so they're so much more invested in my classroom because they know that I'm going to give them back that time.
Right now, I'm doing a PBL on a virtual store where the students have to go and create a virtual store and find the products they want to sell, write the description, and then later on how I'm going to hit the math is we're going to make a scatter plot because they're going to go back and research the products and compare the prices and things like that. So they don't even know where the math comes in, but they're so invested in creating their store, making sure it looks good. And I'm also doing it at the same time, so now I'm making a competition because I'm like, my store's going to look better than yours. So they're excited. They're very excited. And so I still like do my little teach piece or whatever I'm supposed to be teaching, and then okay, now we're going to work on our PBL, and that's what they're looking forward to. Can we work on our project now? So they're just happy that we're doing something different.
And who are your students?
I actually teach resource.
I noticed like whenever I first started doing PBL this year, I feel like my kids just worked better together when they were working on that project. I have had a lot of trouble with just kids collaborating and working together in any kind of group activity, but once I noticed, I teach second grade, so I teach second. But whenever I present this project that they're supposed to be doing, it's like they are a different person. Like they've just completely changed, and everyone's working together. Obviously, it's not perfect. Sometimes, there's some troubles, but for the most part, everyone has their different job, and everyone's working together. There's no one left out, so that's a good opportunity to just grow community in the classroom as well.
I get to serve as the instructional coach on my campus, so I get to work with all of the teachers there, and what I found is that the students that can make the connection and find the relevance to their problem they're the ones that enjoy these the most. I've seen some that have not been as successful because the kids are like, I don't know how this applies to me, even though it's a problem-based project. So I think that's the key to remember that I've learned.
I teach 5th grade, and we also do a 5th grade group of STEM club after school, and Elizabeth and I. And so I've noticed the kids kind of take control in a good way of what they're working on. We are doing a future city competition where they build a city of the future. They have to research green energy, make it sustainable, all that stuff. And we kind of gave them some of the videos from Defined Learning to kind of push them in that direction of the competition and to help with research. And they just took it and ran with it to the point where by the 3rd or 4th meeting, they figured out that they had to come up with a scale to build it to scale, and they figured that out on their own. We were going to do a lesson on it, but they figured it out. And just they started grabbing the cardboard this past week and just building. And it's just amazing to see these designs and ideas that they come up with. And they're learning to work together. These kids that were home, some of them were home for the last year and a half, virtual school, and they don't have people skills, communication skills, collaboration skills. But by bringing in PBL, they are gaining those skills in the club and in the classroom. So it's been really cool.
Last year when I did the bakery PBL, I felt like it was just a disaster. So I just want, if you do try, so that was a roadblock, just thinking that it's not going good. So, and that's going to happen. So don't be surprised when you start something and it just breaks down. It's going to do that, but just keep doing it and finishing it, and then when you look back, you're like, okay, there was learning took place, and so that's really all that matters. It may not go perfect, it's not going to go perfect, but just keep on, and the next time you do one, you'll be better prepared.
Supplies. And so, but you never know, like within your community, you can go and like ask, like I ask the art teacher all the time, can I just have your scraps of this or this or this? And I just have kids go get buckets and buckets of it, and I save it now. So I have like a cardboard, like plastic pull-out drawer. And I tell some pieces, I tell the kids like, please don't tear this in half, like we keep reusing it for ramps or other things that we're building. But the kids, tell the kids, they'll come up with all kinds of stuff that you didn't even know that they had at their house, just because it's their project and they want to make it amazing. And then you can also ask for supplies, like reach out to your principal knows who to reach out to, and you can get those supplies. So don't let that ever be something that just like blocks you, where you're like, oh, we can't do this because we don't have this or that. There's a way to get it.
My favorite quote is that PBLs are messy. That's just what they're messy, they're gonna be messy, and that's okay. I think the biggest roadblock that I've seen is the shift in mentality of, this is not something that I do after I've taught my content as a project. It is how you teach the project, or how you teach the content. And it's that shift in mindset that's, it's just hard to do. But once we understand, and once they do it enough to see that, then it becomes obvious, oh, okay, I get it. That's how they learn it, they connect it, they remember it. But it's just that, making that shift from not being a project that happens after you've taught.
Yeah, I would agree with supplies, and for me, time. Like, I get literally 30 minutes a day by the time I transition into my block and we take a brain break and a bathroom break and all that stuff. We get like 30 minutes a day, but what I've found is that they will work on it at home. They will research at home. They will come back in the next day with 6 cereal boxes ready to add to it. My closet is so full of STEM materials now that we went to the principal the other day and said, hey, we need a STEM closet in our school, and so he's gonna help us. Hopefully we're trying to come up with storage for that now. So just ask. I mean, that's all it takes, and work. Find someone to work, kind of bounce your ideas off of. We go back and forth to each other all the time, not just all 5 of us, but especially being on the same campus. Elizabeth and I work together a lot on ideas and stuff, so that's helpful.
I think sometimes the biggest roadblock can be yourself, just not having the confidence to get started, and that's kind of where it started with me. Sometimes maybe it's like, okay, I can't stand the mess. It drives me crazy sometimes, but I know the kids are learning, and I have to kind of just step back and let it go, to just be able to move forward in that.
An open mind, and like just be ready for teachers to dive in and encourage teachers, like maybe even have your teachers experience this so that they say, oh, we do need to do STEM, and some of them already do it, they just don't know it. So just encouraging us and pushing us forward and saying yes when we say, can we try this?
We're in year 3 of our implementation, and our principal this year, we've been taking baby steps. And this year she said it's a building expectation that she wants all teachers to try some element of PBL. Yay, that makes my job so much easier. And so we're not gonna all go do a full PBL probably of 70 people, but it's an expectation that it's a conversation.
And I think you never know until you ask. Like, I know, Jen and I say that all the time, like, well, we have all these ideas. I'm like, well, it doesn't hurt to go ask for support, and we have a pretty supportive principal, and he's, like, she talked to him at the beginning of the year, and he was really supportive of just getting us going, and what he's asking questions, what can I do to help you? So I think just taking that first step and asking for help is something that needs to be done.
I think it'll be helpful if principals can ask Define Learning to come into their schools and model this, or what we did at the camp, because that's really helpful. They, when we went to the camp, they had people there from Define Learning that were going around helping and showing us, and so I think if principals can get that for a PD session, that would be helpful for the teachers.
I think too, our principal did a really good job this year about just kind of like reassuring us that it's okay if the students are moving around the room and talking and doing things when they come in, that they want them, outside getting their hands dirty. We want them having their hands on something and talking, and, if they're running around the room and it's, not complete total chaos, that's great, that's a great thing. And so just, taking that time to reassure, like, it's okay in the middle of the pandemic that we're still in, it's okay to have the kids up and moving and get their hands on things and get dirty and just learn a different way that's not just sitting with pencils and reading. So my math teacher that teaches next door the other day, he came bouncing in my room going, "Hey McKinney, guess what? I'm doing this PBL from Defined Learning," and I just like went. We hadn't even talked about it yet, and he had this whole entire thing completely mocked up with the backpacks, and he was doing it with ratios. The kids love to be in his class now. They want to be in his class now more than mine, and so now it's a competition to see who can have the finest PBL, so the kids want to be in there. But I even have second graders, or second grade teachers that will come through and be like, "Oh, Miss McKinney, I really wish I could be in your science class." And I'm like, well, you can kind of do this same kind of thing if you just log in. And so just showing them like, hey, it's right here, it's all ready for you. And we've had a few teachers that are really willing and they're trying it, and the kids are just absolutely loving it.
I know planning with my team, they're always open to implementing PBL whenever we can. So it's always nice to have that support at the school level, which sometimes you don't always have. So I'm just appreciative to my team for being willing and to do that in the classroom as well. I am always kind of interested to see the different ways that each of the second grade classrooms completes one of the projects. I think that's also exciting.
So as you go back to your class or your school and people say, "What'd you do on that Saturday?" One of the things I want you to remember, instead of asking our students what do they want to be when they grow up, let's start asking them what kind of problems they want to solve, and let's help them build that portfolio. In Defined Learning, your students have a portfolio they'll be building every time they solve a problem. Let's help them understand building that portfolio is getting them ready to go after the jobs they want in the future.